two teams that are going to be advancing on to the Delta Force Invitational on land, competing for $500,000. And if there's one match of operations in Space City on hard difficulty that is standing in your way, if you don't have a Mandel Brick, get one. But also, that's not even going to be enough. You're going to have to make sure that you couple a ton of loot to go alongside that Mandel Brick. And if everything about history is going to repeat itself in this match, what is that utter madness that breaks out the moment everyone starts trying to steal that Mandel Brick while being decoded gauche? I'm talking a receipt, a laundry list worth of the kill feed of the trades that are happening.
You know, kills are all worth 300k too. That could be the difference between you making land or not too. I mean, there's so many what ifs. Space City though, I love that we're in Space City 3 times in a row, because Space City's got to be one of the hottest maps out here in terms of these fights around the decoding stations. Here we go. Let's take a look at the operators before we jump into game. It's about to get started. Decent amount of variety across the board. It looks like North America favored the use of Nox early to leave some options open towards the end. The last map of the day, and we got plenty of Cenivas to play with. I'm going to be honest. If I'm looking at this list, especially on Space City, here's what I'm thinking. Inc. They've done it, right? They grabbed their last brick. They used Ceniva to do it. Inc. is going to try to grab the Mandel Brick fast and take it to an open decoding station. If it goes back indoors, Inc. will not win that fight without a Ceniva. We saw how valuable they were in that corridor. If you're a team, SFC, who has both their Ceniva operators, you could run both of them and go for the decode as well. Try to grab it immediately and take it into the interior one that we just saw. Same for AKA. A lot of question marks here, and I don't know what the answer is, but I'm excited to see what it is.
Yeah, I mean, look, we are just moments away from dropping into match number 6. So I think those are all very vital things. Alluru, they're going to be 2 from that on black and yellow. Maybe they just do not favor playing that. Maybe they come in with the Luna, Stinger, Nox, or maybe they drop with the Alluru into this. But black and yellow didn't even get to play in match number 5 because they were the first team that fell. This is a chance for them to kind of make that comeback.
Yeah, I only see 2 Lunas, by the way, left. One for Jack Tan and Handsome, one for black and yellow. Likely will both be used to get information in this map. And see, I mean, Alluru is super valuable as well with the mini guided missile that he can use and the deployable cover that you can build up. Pretty helpful for interior fights. I don't know. I'm really pumped to see who they choose here. Mangu's got a Viren. I would expect some Virens as well. I mean, talk about the efficacy of Viren. How many plays did we see fights win because of Viren knockdowns or magnetic bombs? I mean, literally, Inc. caps that point in the last one by using Viren's magnetic bomb. They stuck the Ceniva operator that was trying to go for the decode, and it kills him outright before you can get it.
Things are going to get dicey here in the final match of the NA regional finals. And as we kind of sit here, we gear up, we theory craft, we think we know what can potentially happen, but not until we get into it. 2 minutes, 56 seconds on that timer and counting down.
Quick look at the spawns, quick look at who's moving where. All of a sudden, already, the hero Grimmy is killed off rip in the first 45 seconds of the lobby. Black and yellow, frustrated with some early departures in the last couple, they sprint forward and catch Grimmy before their opponents can respond. An early blood means SFC is in a blender to start this thing off. Already at the top of the leaderboard, but down a player is brutal on the final map of the day.
Ooh. I mean, look. It's not what you want going into match number 6. Knowing that you have a Mandel Brick, knowing that if someone else gets it, aside from Inc. or yourself, then you have a real issue with potentially not qualifying to land. It all comes down to this. And they didn't even play for loot value on match number 5. They could have maybe focused up anywhere other than the Mandel Brick and played for the long game. But instead, they bring it to a very close match number 6, because look who's really setting themselves up for a Mandel Brick play.
Yeah, JTH trying to set up in mid. I like this. I think getting here early is a nice boon for them. Reminder, on a technicality, they are currently our top team in loot value. They're not our top team in the leaderboard. Inc. has just surpassed them in this map. 13.7. There's the total assets. If they get this mantle brick, they're going to leapfrog SFC. This is a scary moment for a team that's down to a duo in green. We'll watch out for them. As black and yellow also jockeying for position around this mantle brick. About 70 seconds before this mantle brick is able to be picked up. And I think, I say this every map that we see it, I think fortune is going to favor the bold. You might not win it, but it's going to be a huge boon to decide where it goes based on the operators that you're bringing in. If I'm JTH not bringing in a Saniva, I got to take this to a decoding station that's outside that indoor position.
There's some red going the way of AKA, which isn't bad. Now, do you loot? Do you play for the mantle brick? Because you need a mantle brick to even win it. And right now, JTH, black and yellow, Zomo, my guy. This is not what you want for black and yellow yet again. Now, in a 3v2.
Yeah, this is why teams play slow, by the way. You were asking why we were not moving at all. The one time we get antsy and we rush through a doorway, we get obliterated and lose a player. All advantages we had now gone out the window. John is going to have to go huge from an off angle. Incendiary connects for a moment on equal, but able to back up. Get back to full health. Mana Brick is able to be grabbed and in the chaos. It looks like AKA maybe are the ones making the first move. Here goes 60 MG. A frustrating last map. They're the ones that grab the brick. They're the ones that get to dictate where it goes. Once it goes into a decoding station, it can't leave that decoding station. And AKA want to put it somewhere special. Let's see where they take it.
Wait, the auto tank knocks him. That's going to really put a thorn in the side of you making your way over towards a decoding station. Elsewhere, we do see SFC go back to a team of 3, but all eyes for now are on AKA. Black and yellow still having to deal with JTH, so it's going to keep them occupied. So at least AKA has a relatively easy rotate on out of this.
Curious to where they're going to go. Oh, they are going to go inside? I'm going to be honest. I don't love this choice. They don't have a Saniva operator. It is now inside, and AKA said we should have gotten the brick last time here. We know we can win this fight. We're going to do it again. They're set up early. They're set up before anyone else. So they could dictate the fight by kind of playing a little bit more out in the open and just shooting anybody that comes into view immediately. But if a Saniva operator gets set up in here, AKA is going to have a hard time dealing with them.
That's okay. We're going to wait it out. We're going to see if that even happens. For the time being, they're just focused on locking down this area. And JTH now with 2 kills, so 600k Technic alloy of value here is going to be quite nice. And they're kind of sitting on a body of one member of black and yellow who is now currently a solo, which means that the chances of them sealing their ticket to LAN in September are likely not going to happen unless some crazy regain occurs and he can pick up both members.
Yeah. Or if he just pulls a Grimmy. I mean, not like we haven't seen a solo hero moment. The stakes are very simple, folks. If you don't have a Mantle Brick, you're not making it to finals. You're not making it to LAN in China. You're not playing for $500,000. That's all it takes. Spades has an angle. Here comes Ink. Moving first is Saniva, though. Perfect play. Able to check the corner for free. Triple Blaster won't connect. Ink gonna have to relocate before they try to address this fight. This interior decoding station. SFC get to move up for free.
Okay, Spades. Kind of bringing it up the rear. We still are working our way closer to the decoding station. Grimmy here, though, does have the ability to mix up the interior. You were asking for the Saniva plays, and well, I see one.
2 minutes on the clock here on the decoding station. No huge rush. AK has been set up for a while here, waiting on a contest. SFC doesn't have to take this brick. AKA could theoretically take this brick and still not make land technically. But the loot values are so close, you can't leave it up to chance like that. Can't leave it up to RNG. You're going to have to fight regardless. 60 MG in a decent spot. Maybe more than decent. Finds one. We saw this ladder stall position in EU. 60 MG says, thank you very much. I will yoink that kill. Equal plays down in numbers. backs off, and a nice take.
Yikes. While that was going on, Black and Yellow was actually able to pick up one member of the team, which, you know, if they get back to a full number, which it doesn't look like they're going to be able to, it does show kind of the X there. So they're going to be relegated down to a team of 2. Can they pull it off? Yes, especially with what we saw earlier. You talked about that hero play. It's possible, right? But less than a minute left here for AKA. They have locked down this corridor and have so far not had any challenge.
Yeah, this is so interesting. JTH is the only one that's going to challenge. Black and Yellow coming in as a duo, finally getting here. The problem is everybody is so incredibly late. Everybody has a timer. Mangu is just risking it for the biscuit. Mangu's saying, somebody will steal this. We're going to rely on their opposition to save this tournament. And because they're playing slow on the backside, they take out one member of Black and Yellow. Black and Yellow back down to a solo. Mangu's here. Get me to the mantle brick. Mangu's coming in to get to the party, but they're so late. 18 seconds. Jack, Tall, and Handsome. Tall, Tan, doesn't matter. They're getting into the mix. Black and Yellow out of this lobby. Black and Yellow not making land. I don't care. 9 seconds left on this mantle brick. No one's making a move for it. Mangu's late. You're too late, ladies and gentlemen. You're all dead, ladies and gentlemen. AKA wiping everybody. AKA getting the mantle brick. You move too slow. AKA fortune favors the bold, my friends. Job is not done. You got to get the full wipe and you're able to do it. See ya later. AKA wipes everybody.
Not only do they wipe everyone, of course they get the mantle brick, but that might be enough kills to shoot them up the leaderboard in terms of that loot value, right? I see 7 kills, 2.1 million in value aside from that. We're going to focus on getting the res, and now you have so much time, just over 10 minutes, to focus on looting the map and getting out. So now if I'm SFC, who did not get a second mantle brick, right? Did not double down, check and make sure they can really seal their ticket as we kind of run back that chaotic moment. Now everyone's just got to loot.
Insane plays, perfect setup. They force the hand of their opponents and everybody moved too late. The spin here, the perfect trades, the help of Articuno, but January going massive to get the full team wipe and the cleanup. Back to the action we go. A key factor here. The 3 remaining teams are the 3 teams with the mantle brick already. Jack, Tan, and Handsome out, not making land. Mango out, not making land. Black and Yellow out, not making land. These 3 teams already have a mantle brick at this point. These 3 teams jockeying for 2 positions to land. It's gonna come down to fights here. Extracting, likely not the play. You've got to play to win the map.
This has to be done to perfection with a sprinkle of luck. And Ink is down to a duo.
The onus of responsibility, according to our leaderboard. Nice play to try to get that thing out, having to drop down. But the onus of responsibility is on SFC. They're technically 900k behind Ink right now. AKA, after looting all of those bodies, want to assuredly put some points on the board. Smartly, they're going to send one player out of this lobby. To the workshop we go. Get out with some points. Make sure we get a sizable amount for our leaderboard. Let's throw them up there. And we'll figure it out from there. Leaving 2 on the map, play spoiler, I think is the right play. So 60MG says, I've done my job. I'll do my part and I will get out of the map. Some nice points being added to the leaderboard. I'm not sure exactly how many, but probably a majority of the loot they found on all those boxes after the wipes. So now it's a 2v2v3. SFC, the only team with 3 players on the map, and the team that needs it most.
Yeah, this is a tough one. This is a tough one, especially looking at the total assets now, just 200,000 separating them. It is going to come down to the very last minute on this match. You can see there, we do send one member, like you were saying, out from AKA, and I think that's smart, right? Preserve as much as you can, and then you go look for more kills.
You also got to extract too. I mean, safe box helpful. But you got to extract. The rocket launch too long. 11 minutes. If you're able to guard the area, potentially you could get out this way. Helicopter landing area been utilized. Articuno in January. We're going to guard this area and then get the rocket launch potentially off the ground. I think they're thinking we have enough. If we can get out, we have enough. January still has an AWM to play with.
I just feel like that's something that you don't ever want to assume. You never want to assume you have enough with how close these leaderboards have been. I mean, those kills are an insane amount, and I think that should really boost you on up, but you don't know. Someone could walk around and find something insane.
SFC, the full team, the only full team on the lobby still, but they have no idea where Ink is. They know the rocket launch is coming, but they don't know where their opponents are. And frankly, if you're SFC, you have to find them, or you have to get real dang lucky. Right now, if the map ended here, we still have 6 minutes. If the map ended here, AKA and Ink are headed to LAN in China. Remy has done some heroic things on main, but it may not be enough. They can't figure out how to get out of this lobby or wipe the other teams that are doing it. The math coming in, it's even. Ink and SFC, the same as of current.
And it's just checking everything, making sure that you're not missing something. It is going to come down to the absolute wire. Little by little, brick by brick, can we get to LAN?
We'll loot out everything we can. Again, this leaderboard is not based on the excess loot, if you will. It's not based on all loot minus the stuff you brought in. It's total assets that your character has. Stash value, everything. So because of that, you've got to maximize value. You've got to maximize the total loot value of everything, including the stuff you brought in. Mathematically, this couldn't be closer. I think the big question in my mind is who gets out. Now, the lever's being pulled. That is setting off the extraction point right there in the middle of the map. You can see it. There's enough time on that extraction to get out of the map. This is going to be the fight potentially for LAN. We've had hype moments, Tiff, but I think this final fight's going to be everything.
It really, truly is, as we kind of gear up towards that extraction point. Doing what we can, but time is of the essence, and there's really not going to be a whole heck of a lot of time to make this work.
Only we know the teams that are left in the lobby. I'm sure they're doing their own internal calculations. Check every corner. Check every angle. We've got to do it. Gonna guard the area here for the rocket for another 50 seconds. Should have plenty of time to take this rocket extract out. I say plenty of time. There's only 4 minutes left on the game clock. And I wonder what SFC decides to do. Do they try to skip this middle extraction and go for the rocket? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. It's going to be heartbreaking, though, because it's going to come down to just a small amount.
Cow,
and I can't imagine if you see that clutch that Grimmy was able to do towards the end of match number 4. There is just no way. We have 1 kill at the hands of Spades here. That's only 300K.
Yeah, let me be very clear. I have absolutely no idea what happens if we extract right here. There's a couple match compensation things that happen from kills, staying alive. There's a lot going on behind the scenes, and these are razor-thin margins. What I do know is this. One of these teams can wipe one of these squads at the extraction points. It could mean that you make LAN. Here's a look at it. Rocket extraction. They've captured it. It's coming down in 40 seconds. They're going to get a read on it. I think this was an extremely high IQ play to make sure that AKA all of them get out of this lobby. Playing this far away means they're likely going to be safe. No one's going to run all the way down from here now that there's an extraction point that's a lot closer. SFC moves there first. It's going to be a 3v2 for the middle extraction point. Look at the timers, folks. 60 seconds on the clock. Inc is late. Coming in late. They got to get a knockdown here, and they got to get an angle. Inc in trouble. They're not going to get there in time. Inc may not make land if they can't get to the extraction point. They don't have to kill him. They just got to get on it when this timer hits 0. It's 3 seconds. You got to get there. 1 second. Inc, do they get out? One member, Infant Baby, sneaks in. SFC, all 3 get out. 2 members of AKA get out through the rocket, which means all 3 of them get out. Inc only miss out on 1 player's loot. And I don't know if that 1 player's loot makes the difference on them winning or losing over SFC. This leaderboard on the left, it's insanely close, and there's a couple things that will happen afterwards that could shift it on its head. That one mistake, that 1 minute of being just a hair late could be the difference maker. It's going to come down to potentially less than 10,000 in Technic Alloy. It is that close. And Inc, honestly, Ezzy here. To Ezzy, the best thing he can do right now with the last remaining 1 minute and 20 seconds, Tiff, is to just find anything that could replace anything in his safe box.
Gosh, they don't have any kills either. So we're not going to have that extra additional moment there for the kills. This is... I don't envy our team that has to do the math and make sure we're totaling everything up as you set in Sunsight. Our last sites here on to Space City, match number 6. We're pretty much done and dusted here, Goes. Now we just have to figure out who our top 2 teams are.
Top of the leaderboard, our winners of our North American region. It is AKA in the final map on the back of their limbs and their loot value and the brick grab in the final map. AKA are your champions for the North American region here for the Delta Force Invitational Qualifiers.
RF farming at its finest, 18 total limbs, 18.6 mil total supply value. And look, it just comes down to a match 6 insane victory to make this happen. Like, if you're gonna wait to come down to the wire, that's exactly what you're doing, but my God, do it in style. Steal it away. That means one of our teams between Inc and SFC, who had a Mandel brick prior, will not be advancing on.
Yeah, this is insane. Here's a look at the overall, Tiff, and unbelievable spread. AKA crushed it, and these were razor thin margins. What's thinner than a razor? I don't even know. A strand of hair, less than 100,000 Technic Alloy separates these 2 teams. The battle for first, well decided. The battle for second, the last spot to land, decided by 80,000 Technic Alloy. 1 single kill, much less than a single kill. A decent item, not even a good one, taken out of this lobby. Inc just barely scrapes by. Inc will be joining AKA, representing North America in China on land, playing for $500,000 in September. It's Inc. It's AKA. They've made it. You've done it. Congratulations, gentlemen. You're going to be representing North America in China for $500,000. 12 teams from 8 regions, and here's 2 more of them joining the ranks of the 2 teams from EU, and then our other teams from other regions.
You know, Gosh, as I sit here, and I want to congratulate all the teams that played today and our qualified teams here today, but Killsall getting that frag that netted for 3 kills, that is a difference maker. That is an insane difference maker. But for those of you that are not advancing on to the global LAN in China next month, there is still money on the line. So you can see AKA winning it all, grabbing the ticket, $4,000, Inc joining them, getting $3,000, SFC third place, $1K, and then Jack Tan Handsome, Mengu Black and Yellow all taking home $500. So it may not be a chance to compete in person on LAN, but you know what it is? It's a nice consolation prize to get paid for a crazy evening of Delta Force.
Yeah, it definitely is. It definitely is. I mean, $1,000 for SFC is great. $500 a piece for the rest of the teams. You made it here. You're getting paid for it. Well done. Of course, the top 2 teams, though, making the most and doing the most over there on LAN in about a month's time. Unbelievable job from our top 2 teams and a great tournament today. North America, I'm going to be honest, you didn't disappoint. You lived up to the hype. The beginning, I was a bit worried, but the end of this tournament was